So, your company just spent six figures putting your IT team through certifications, new cloud skills, new agile frameworks, new tools. And yet, sprint reviews are still going sideways. Client escalations are still happening. The VP of product still can't get a straight answer out of engineering. Here's what I've learned after working with IT teams. The problem isn't with the technical skills. It's never been the technical skills. It's communication. And more specifically, it's business English. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what poor business English is costing your IT team and the ROI you can expect when you fix it. These are numbers you can bring to your CFO. So let's get into it. I'm Megan Miller. I'm the founder of Aprovechar Language Solutions, and I've spent the last 2 years working directly with IT teams, CHROs, and engineering teams on exactly this problem. I've seen what happens when communication breaks down, and I've seen the transformation when it doesn't. What I'm sharing today is based on that direct work, plus research from communication experts like Axios, SHRM, and The Economist that backs up what I've seen in the field. So let's start with the number that usually stops people cold. Here's the number. According to research by Grammarly and Axios, poor communication costs US businesses $2 trillion every year. 2 trillion, that's TR. And for a company with 500 employees, you're looking at around 6.25 million annually and losses tied directly to communication breakdowns. Now, those numbers are company-wide, but IT teams have a multiplier effect because miscommunication in technical environments doesn't just waste time. It ships bugs, it delays deployments, it loses clients, and more importantly, it erodes trust. So think about what happens in a typical sprint. A developer gets ambiguous requirements from a product owner. Instead of clarifying, because clarifying feels like you admitting you don't understand, they build what they thought was asked. 2 weeks later, it's wrong. That's not a process problem. That's a language confidence problem. And it plays out dozens of times a week in global IT teams. The Economist Intelligence Unit found that 44% of respondents say poor communication has led to delayed or failed projects at their organization. Nearly half. If your IT project pipeline has 44% delay rate, even partially, communication is almost always part of the cause. But here's where it gets really interesting and where most CHROs I talk to have a moment of recognition. The most expensive communication failures aren't the visible ones. They're not the missed deadline or the client complaint. In fact, it's invisible. It's the engineer who didn't speak up in the meeting because they weren't confident enough in their English skills, or the developer who wrote a technically brilliant email that landed badly because the tone was off, or the offshore team that said it depends on a client call without noticing the body language in the room and cost the company a renewal. So the first and most measurable ROI driver is a reduction in rework. When IT teams can communicate requirements clearly, ask better questions, write clearer tickets, run tighter stand-ups, the number of misunderstood tasks drops. Avoiding rework cycles directly translates into recovered time. So if your average developer earns $100,000 a year and they spend 10% of their week on rework tied to miscommunication, that's $10,000 per developer per year in recoverable cost. Multiply that across a team of 50 and you're looking at 500,000. That's the kind of math that gets CFOs to pay attention. The second driver is client retention. Here's a scenario I see constantly. A technically excellent IT team interfaces with a client and the client doesn't renew. Not because the product failed, but rather because every interaction felt confusing or delayed or tense or awkward. The client didn't feel confident in the team. That's a communication failure masquerading as a technical failure. When you invest in business English, your IT team doesn't just deliver better, they land better. They build the confidence clients need to keep investing in both the service and the relationship. The third driver is talent retention, and this one is close to my heart. Research from Gallup shows that replacing an employee can cost up to twice their annual salary. Your multilingual IT talent, your offshore leads, your senior engineers who speak English as a second language, they are often your most technically skilled people. And they're also often the most likely to leave if they feel like their voice isn't heard or if they're passed over for leadership because of communication confidence rather than capability. Business English training is retention investment. So, what does this actually look like on the ground? Here's the before and after I've seen with teams that Aprovechar has worked with. So, before, stand-ups run over and people leave more confused than when they walked in. Frustration and rework make people tense and easily irritable. After, not to say it's all sunshine and roses, but there's a safety in asking questions. Decisions happen quicker. Everyone feels like they can have a say. You hear much more laughter and less judgment in the room. And these aren't soft outcomes. Every one of these maps to a measurable business metric. Time saved, escalations reduced, contracts renewed, people retained. That's the hidden ROI, and it's been hiding in plain sight. So, if you're a CHRO or a VP of HR watching this, here's what I want you to take away. The ROI of business English training is real, it's measurable, and it's almost certainly larger than your current L&D budget accounts for. You don't have to take my word for it. Run the numbers on your own team using the three drivers I walked you through: rework costs, client retention, and talent replacement. Add those up and then ask what 5% improvement in each one would be. And if you want help doing that calculation, or if you want a direct conversation about what this could look like for your specific team, I'd love to talk. The link to book a free 20-minute discovery call is in the description and pinned in the first comment. No pitch, just a real conversation about your needs and about your team. And if this video gave you something useful, subscribe. I'm now publishing content for CHROs and HR leaders on language, communication, and belonging every week. I'll see you in the next one.